All right. So what does last night's loss say about the Cavs? I was listening to none other than Stephen A. Smith this morning from First Take. I do believe I heard you say that this probably woke them up, if you will.
Well, to some degree, what I mean by that is that when you're up 26 to start the fourth quarter and you lose to a team you just lost to a couple of days earlier that you may end up facing within the Eastern Conference playoffs, that's a wake-up call. And LeBron James obviously plays for April, May, and June. We know this. He's been unapologetic about his approach to things. He's all about the championship. So when you show up there in Atlanta and you stink up the joint and give up a 26-point lead, you're up 16 with a little over 6 minutes left, and you lose to a clearly inferior team, that wakes you up. And I think that's one of the situations that's going on right now. I think this is one of the best things that could have happened to the Cleveland Cavaliers, because I think they'll respond to this kind of challenge because they know how bad they looked in losing a game like this.
So last night, Stephen A., they're talking about the officiating. From what you were able to see, how much of it really was on the officiating in the fourth quarter?
I haven't thought about it. It doesn't matter to me what the officiating was because you had a 26-point lead. Clearly, the officiating wasn't that bad for the first three quarters. And even if the officiating is bad, it shouldn't be bad enough to allow an opponent to overcome a 26-point deficit when you're the reigning defending NBA champions. LeBron James might have been a bit peeved, no doubt about it. There may be legitimacy to his arguments because the man is highly intelligent about the game of basketball, but it doesn't negate the reality that you were up 26 and you lost. And this is the same team that just a couple of days ago walked into your house and beat you by 14 points on your home floor. That raises a red flag. That raises the alarms. And I definitely think that you have to take that into consideration and recognize who we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy in LeBron James that at this stage and point in his career looks for every element necessary to serve as a motivating force for the rest of his team. This may end up, and I believe it will end up being the best thing that happened to the Cleveland Cavaliers moving forward, because I think they're saying, okay, is the proof not, is it not there for us to see? We are not what we're supposed to be. We need to get our act together. I think this will serve them well.
All right, so if it does, we shall see LeBron James also in the conversation, as he always is, Stephen A., as, you know, perhaps one of the MVPs. But clearly the race down between Harden and Westbrook. Last night, Harden talking about it. I want to listen to that, and then I want to come back and get your take.
Sure.
I thought winning was what this was about, period. So I'm not going to get into depth with all that, but I thought winning was the most important thing. And, you know, if you set your team up in a position to, have a chance at the ultimate goal, then that's the most important thing.
Is winning what it's all about, Stephen A.?
It's not what it's all about, but it should have something to do with it, and he makes a legitimate argument there. They've got the third best record in the entire NBA. They've won 54 games. Harden has over 62 double-doubles on the season. And while Russell Westbrook has averaged 31, 10, and 10, let me throw out Harden's numbers for you. They're 29, 11, and 8. It's not like this dude has been in hibernation while Russell Westbrook has been putting on shows. James Harden has been putting on shows himself, not to mention the fact that they're the number 3 seed. They're 8 games better than Oklahoma City. And on top of it all, James Harden has done what he's done, shooting nearly 400 times less than Russell Westbrook. So I take that into consideration, and I say that's a legitimate argument not to summarily dismiss what we've seen from James Harden. It's just that Russell Westbrook has been absolutely sensational, and considering that he just recently had 7 straight triple-doubles in 8 of 9 games, and then last night he has a triple-double to break Oscar Robertson's record. Not only that, it eliminates Denver from the playoffs, not to mention that he hits a buzzer beater to win the game. It just seems like everything is flowing in his direction right now where you can't poo-poo the reality that he may win the award. I'm just saying that James Harden is a league MVP too, and we should recognize that. If I had my druthers, they'd get co-MVP. But I'm wise enough to acknowledge I can't summarily dismiss Russell Westbrook winning the award outright because he's been phenomenal.
Wait, I haven't asked you, who's your MVP?
Co-MVP, I just told you.
So you're not going either or. You're giving it to both.
I'm giving it to both.
Okay.
If I had to, I would lean begrudgingly towards Russell Westbrook because it can't take it away from him. Russell Westbrook has to have the award. But if I had my druthers, it would be co-MVP. If I was forced to pick one or the other, considering the way Russell Westbrook has ended this season, I guess you could sit up there and say, look, it can't be denied. Allen Iverson on the phone, he loves both players, but he's like, what Russell Westbrook has done, I've never seen it in my lifetime. I had to remind him that when he did it, they won 56 games. They were the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
they weren't the 6th seed with the 10th best record overall in the NBA. It's a little bit different for him than it is for Russell Westbrook. But I do understand why so many people support Russell Westbrook, and I have to respect that.
All right, so Stephen A., as you know, David Lloyd is gone for the day, and so Paul Feinbaum is in house, and he has a question for you as well. Or maybe
the man, the myth, the legend. It is such an honor. It is such an honor. What's up, Paul?
Man, but Stephen A., I don't want to come out firing, but man, were you in Congress last week being vetted for Supreme Court justice? Because I'm hearing two co-MVPs. I'm hearing I'm not worried. Best thing to happen, even though they're blaming the officials. What's going on with you?
Well, first of all, I've watched, because just like I defer to you when it comes to my football, Paul Feinbaum, I would ask you respectfully to defer to me when it comes to basketball. When I look at LeBron James, how am I going to sit up there and worry about some team in the East when I've watched this man go to 6 consecutive NBA Finals, and it doesn't matter whether he's on the road or he's at home, there's nothing to be concerned about. Let's think about it, break it down this way, Paul. You got in Boston a 5'9" miniature scoring machine. That's not going to work in the postseason. Trust me, they'll find a way to neutralize it to some degree. In Washington, they tailed off, okay? And so you wonder about what depth they have outside of their backcourt in John Wall and Bradley Beal. And then in the case of Toronto, who could be the biggest threat, the acquisition of Serge Ibaka is a very, very big deal, along with Kyle Lowry. But Kyle Lowry's another miniature point guard, and all you're going to do is take a LeBron or an Iman Shumpert or somebody and put him on those smaller guards. That's a problem. So it's a question as to whether or not they're going to get out the East. I'm not concerned about it. As it pertains to MVPs, I'm looking at Harden. 8 games better. By the way, averaging nearly a triple-double himself, putting forth an electrifying season, and he changed positions and coaches. I take all of those things into consideration. I can't ignore it, Paul. You taught me that.
Mr. Chairman, I will draw my question, whatever it was.
Whatever his question was, Stephen A.
But listen, he's Paul Feinbaum. When he asks, you listen. And when he speaks, remember, he's like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, you listen.
That's right.
It's just the way it is.
I'm trying.
I defer to Paul Feinbaum.
Stephen A., I appreciate you, my man. Thanks for joining us on Coast to Coast.
Y'all take it easy.
All right.